side, they want to put all the resources.
Sam und Dienstag ist Heretics gegen G2 und Casey gegen DRX. Alright.
What do you think about these two rosters as well? Like, in terms of our expectations coming into this season, D+ looking much stronger, right? The Smash pickup was insane. You still have that core, well, some of the best talent that came up last year, Lucid and Shiu. Well, Lucid year before, obviously. But this roster for DRX is just, something's happened with the coaching staff that they've turned this into a insane, fierce machine.
And from everything that we've seen out of Joker as well, the way that he handles his players is just kind of fantastic. It's been really great hearing sort of his responses to not only losses but wins as well, and
Javan Gwenny-Ban. Was bedeutet Gwen-Ban? Sion ist offen.
We know that
Sion?
been, you know, at the forefront of that, right? The amount of pressure really getting to him.
Is it Sion?
Like that has not been something that's been an issue here, and we've seen downward trends for Andal even in the LCK Cup.
Ist nicht Sion.
Bounced back so much quicker than before. And speaking of bouncing back, a Rise first pick is going to feel real nice as we are here in the draft for game number 3.
Now the obvious counter pick is the Cassiopeia here for Showmaker, since it is available.
Yep, has already played it to quite good effect as well.
What kind of jungle setup do we
Diese
have?
Fraud Alarm, Gumopoldi.
Now this is not as strong as it was on the previous patch in 26.2, where it was a very strong flex pick as well as being broken itself, but still a very strong pick that Smash will grab here and can dominate the bottom lane with. But is it just going to be Cassiopeia, or does Showmaker have something else in mind? In terms of jungle picks here, the Mundo and the Zahin in the pool, so much is left up, and they'll actually grab the Nocturne.
Nocturne's a really interesting one. We do have Vi Pantheon and the Jarvan all banned away, and so the jungle pool has been somewhat thinned. We'll see where Willer is going to go. I'm hoping that it's not a Yunara. That's all I really have to say about that one. As Sivir is going to be considered first. Of course, Sivir into Varus has been a pretty standard response, and also Sivir is something that Geo has found a fair bit of success on in the past. Had some roughy games as well, but otherwise has been performing.
Hallo Ash, grüß dich. Kommt jetzt eine Iceball into Rise. Nocturne weggepickt.
It's actually, you know, good into Paranoia as well.
Meine nicht.
It's just, to me, I look at this draft and I go, okay, so they're like, all right, Geo's going to scale. I'll see you in the late game. And the Renekton's going to get us there pretty safely blind in the top side. And we have some rotational power with this Rise pick, as it will be Shiu to take the Cassante. We talked about this in our key points earlier about how this pick is so pivotal for both of our top laners. Instead, they pivot to the Alistar and basically just saying, all right, it's a Sivir lane. We don't need to pick a range support here and hard focus this lane. Instead, we'll just get a bit of a front line.
Yeah, I do think that they can run into some issues with something like a Lulu picked up on the other side, but that could be banned, as we do have the Rakan taken away first. See what DRX are going to focus on here, as I think the top lane is probably where they're going to be looking. I think a Cassante ban would be good, because that means the Rich could possibly make it 5-0.
Cassiopeia, you just go Cassiopeia, Cassante, it feels incredibly safe. Now, Alistar's
So, okay, bin da.
Interaction, but closing the gap, getting in there, not always as easy as it looks.
So.
He's doing so much damage on patch 26. Please sin.
Okay.
Der Eisvogel. Eisvogel wäre decent, ja. Eisvogel wäre sehr decent. Ist auch raus. Cassio und Eisvogel raus. Syndra ist immer noch. Syndra ist auch gut. Syndra für Showmaker wäre auch super. Spielt Showmaker Nivea? Ja, hat er schon. Last Pick Syndra wäre, glaube ich, auch nicht verkehrt.
Nocturne champs are gone. Like, you don't have the Orianna, you don't have even Zoe. Silas obviously gone. Aurora is gone. So they're using this. They're obviously going to pick Cassante, but I think they're using this time to talk with Showmaker. As you see, she was quite silent. See what they end up getting here. As for the support,
Tülle bei DRX. Glaubt ihr, die Leute sind bereit für die Diskussion?
Like the Lulu mentioned.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Actually, kind of works here too.
Ja, eine Töle. Ja, super.
As well. Kind of interesting that the
Das wird kein Kinderpick.
Extra 80 damage feels really good.
Ist das ein guter Olaf-Engel? Ich sehe es noch nicht so wirklich. Aber dann musst du eigentlich einen Enchanter gehen jetzt. Du solltest einen Enchanter gehen jetzt mit Olaf Jungle dann.
Speaking about Olaf Jungle was the Redemption Olaf Jungle that Kanavi made popular. As Poppy
Lulu, Poppy.
picking that one up. It is kind of a free time to collect the Poppy.
Weiß nicht, ob ich davon, also,
There is only an Alistar
weiß ich
on the
nicht.
side. Will mean that the DK bottom lane should still have priority because Poppy doesn't offer that much, but the amount of value that you will get into the Alistar especially, but the Cassante as well, and depending on what Showmaker plays
Syndra ist gut.
as well.
Here's where we get the answer.
Problem ist nur, Facerush genervt gegen Ding.
I think I'm not too thrilled about it, to be
Okay.
honest.
Morgen Günther. Ein Glück warst du gestern nicht da, mein Freund.
The composition here of DRX because right now
Ich hätte Syndra mehr gemocht, aber Victor ist auch okay. Selbe Kategorie erfüllen die, I guess.
you have the Alistar, you have a really strong front line. You have engaged with this Nocturne, but it doesn't.
So, kurze Werbung und dann Ingame wieder da.
You can go into the back line and then what? You know, there's a lot of bodyguards here for Geo, a lot of bodyguards for this very difficult to kill Ryze anyways. I think the call to ban the Cassiopeia made a ton of sense. Banning the Anivia a little bit less so, but it fits the same sort of identity of, okay, we need some more scaling damage than just this Varus. And they read this really well. The Victor and the Varus will just get run down by the Olaf so easily. There's just not much you can do to stop him from getting into the backline, and that allows the follow-up machine gun Ryze and
So.
like this draft here for the side of DRX, and I think it's once again creativity ruling out here. All three games we've seen it. It's been on both sides, and this time I think DRX really got the better edge.
Yeah, I also feel like DRX have been very good at drafting for easy execution. And that has happened once again. Like, this composition is so much inherent damage. With the ricochets that are going to be flying around, dealing with the Olaf is almost impossible. As you already mentioned, like, the low mobility of these damage dealers is going to be an issue unless DK can get off to an absolutely unimaginable start. The problem is even then,
Oriana schon raus.
being able to close things out. Let's get into game 3.
Evi nimmt nur Anlauf. Ja. Klar,
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The DRX
natürlich.
fairy tale continues as we look to see whether this Cinderella story is going to be moving further forward. Obviously, they still have a life here in the playoffs, but a victory against D+ after they got completely crushed by them earlier on in the previous best of 3 would be kind of insane.
Ja, ich habe immer noch meine Concerns mit dem Olaf ohne Enchanter.
In this meta, Smash.
Wischiwaschi im deutschen Interview, aber nice. Absolut, ja.
They'll be going for
Absolut.
a lot of poke damage with the Victor. I think that was kind of always going to be the game plan. Yep. Into this Olaf and Renekton and even the Poppy. Just feels like that's the idea, is we're going to chip them away.
Clear top to board von beiden Giantern.
Objectives. Lucy can pull the trigger, and otherwise the Showmaker
Spellbook auf Support.
should be enough to finish people off. And it's not that Lethality Varus can't also just do consistent damage in team fights either, but he can also then offer some poke. But makes you wonder if in a negative game state, like in a world where DRX get a tempo lead, like you were talking about, if they get off to a good start here, how does D+ get back in? Is the really concerning question that I have. There's so many ways to kill a Varus, right? The weakness of Varus is you get on top of him, you close that gap, he doesn't really have escape tools, he dies. He's very squishy, obviously, and there's a lot of damage if he is left alone, but Olaf can just run towards him. They have this Renekton, and the Poppy can split up the team composition of D+. D+'s comp, if they're all 5 together, incredibly strong. But if 2 of those people go flying to Narnia, it's a little bit different.
Yeah. And I think Andal is going to be a huge proponent of this game. We have to remember, he was on karma duty in the last one, right? Wasn't able to be the Andal we know and love.
Aber er war sehr OP auf der Kammer.
Obviously,
Auch wenn er falsch itemized hat. Naja.
Nautilus, but you can still be an absolute game changer with that ultimate. So we'll just have to see whether he is going to be able to find it. Shu is bearing the brunt of Rich playing Renekton, hitting level 3 and feeling fantastic on the Crocodile.
The hit to phase rush is going to impact UCal a lot in this game, especially if Lucid is going to be playing around that mid lane a lot. He's just not going to be able to get away from those ganks as well, get away from even, like, for example, the gravity field as well. So that is a big consideration. He went for the Ghost, which will help a lot, and is, I still think, the correct choice for Ryze, but it means if he gets caught in sides by this Nocturne...
So auch dass Full AP kein falscher Itemization ist. Ja, I mean. Ja, also schon.
Yeah, going to push Showmaker back here as
Nichts passiert hier.
doesn't like it whatsoever. He is just going to clear out the wave as this was a classic
Wie machen wir es? Roll of Ages, Victor, oder wollen wir useful sein? Mit schönem Blackfire Torch. Ich würde den Blackfire Torch Bild hier sehr, Double Burn Item Bild, sehr appreciaten hier, Küssi Han.
It's just what Victor does sort of later on, and the fact that he doesn't have the ability to stop Olaf from just kind of walking up and killing him unless he's incredibly far ahead and can just kill the Olaf first. I think a lot of this is just damage checks.
That's kind of why I was feeling like maybe if Smash went for on hit, he could help the Victor kill the Olaf, and just they're like, okay, we're not going to have any peel for this Olaf, we just kill him instead, just shoot him.
Yeah.
But see how this does end up going. I like the Victor more than Talia, which has until very recently been the response that we've seen to the Rise when Cassiopeia is not available.
I definitely agree with you on that front. Steadfast Presence is going to be very frustrating. Just a first example of that one, as Andal does show he has access to W.
Yeah, it does it like the last possible second there as well. Gets the heal out of career.
All right, Shiu actually winning back on that trade, but misses the Q. Now has to deal with these minions. As Rich, he's going to go for his back. And actually, looking up towards that top lane, it looked like Shiu was trading.
Komm, zeig mir alles außer Lord of Ages Bild.
Rich hasn't actually done so yet. And so
Danke.
does have that
Super, Double Burn bei Victor, der wird Damage machen.
Full health here for Rich as he comes back with his Phage.
Oh, just going to be continual Sivir pressure down here on this bottom side. Varus not doing enough damage early to get a tempo advantage, and Jiu was able to get that free back early to grab the cull, so he's feeling really nice in this laning phase.
Korea, not so much, just taking Beyblades to the head. Showmaker.
So das Poppy Game, ja, ich hätte auch lieber einen Enchanter gehabt. To be honest.
Worried about that.
I like that there's not really a gankable lane. Andal with the rotation of Jiu back to base.
Okay, well, there is a teleport here on Smash as Korea looks for the trample, but does not quite get it.
Okay, it doesn't get the stop on Jiu. But I like how both Willer and Andal, like Andal in that first back for Jiu, and then Willer in that pass in the middle, and just like, yeah, I know it's a little tough. I'm just gonna throw some stuff at Showmaker and make your life a little bit easier, because we can't really gank elsewhere on the map. Just gonna do small annoyances, small harassment, get through this early game.
Yep. And the thing is, because that's the case, it's kind of best case scenario here for DK. Because what does Nocturne want to do? Stay in the jungle forever.
Until he gets 6 at least.
Yep. And Lucid getting closer and closer to that. This Rift Skull is certainly going to help out on that front.
Gestammt, also in meinem Kopf waren das zwei Optionen. Entweder halt sowas wie Victor oder Syndra. Waren so die zwei Optionen in meinem Kopf für Showmaker.
Rich is maybe a target if there's an all-out angle for Shiu with that flash. Might be an option there as he is considering moving towards the
Rich
side.
has to stay away from that wall.
Yeah. Rich now moving over. There is the all-out as Paranoia comes down. And with Dominus there, flash out of the way from Rich, he is going to be able to keep himself alive, but that is big buttons
Solid play.
that he does have to employ. Heroic Charge comes in. There's a decent Pulverize there from Korea. It's going to
Flash Ulti rausbekommen.
play this
Gut.
with the Steadfast Presence being such a problem.
Auch gut escaped, ja, das stimmt.
The gank there is
Zeppelchen lang für den 7. und hat Auxilio.
mean that there's a little bit of reprieve here for DRX in terms of dealing with that paranoia.
This is really interesting though, Wolf. Like, the gold lead is all Showmaker.
Yeah.
Like, everything else is pretty negligible, just bouncing of waves. And even as I say that, a wave gets shoved in and Showmaker is now not with that advantage that he just had. So this game on a nice edge.
It is really, really close here. And I think
Mir geht's gut, honestly.
they both have separate win cons, right? Like,
Deutlich ausgeruhter fühle ich mich.
Draft
Ich
has
fühle mich deutlich ausgeruhter als die letzten Tage.
but you and I both
Selbst.
agree that we think DRX's execution in the late game will be a lot easier.
I would agree.
And so I don't think necessarily we go, well, it means that Depos didn't do enough because the execution is easier, but we'll have to wait.
So wird, weil gefühlt die Toplane mattert einfach gar nicht mehr.
Errors
Also mattert jetzt im Early Game noch weniger, weil Grubbies einfach so ein Non-Faktor sind.
Yeah, and Geo
Das heißt, ich könnte jetzt sagen, ja, Toplane State sieht eigentlich besser aus für den Renekton, aber
necessarily be as much, right? If a skill shot misses in a team fight,
also mattert ja einfach nicht. Ist ja scheißegal einfach. Mir geht's auch immer super, wenn du streamst, ja, dann geht's dir ziemlich auf gut. Das freut mich.
Geo just needs to be in good position and keep getting these auto attacks down into the front line. That's all he really needs to do. And he does have a Cassante to hit in order to do that as DRX are looking for the first dragon. And there is a control ward here in the back of the pit, but it's
Kein Nocturne Ulti, of course, kann sich halten.
get DK in there. And that is going to be first rate going on over. So both of the tech dragons going to be the first ones out of the gate.
Oh, I like this. Rich was waiting for
Schön.
it, man. He's like, I'm going to use this wave. I'm going to stop your back. Shiu puts his hands on his bangs there. Was not happy.
Wenn eigentlich Head kommt, dann wird auf 2 Items auch einfach outskillt, oder? Und so, danke für den neuen.
He's going to get the teleport right away, and we'll just back away. And
Das sind 2 Mobile Carries bei DK.
So still good.
Weiß nicht, ob man da so straight up von Outscalen spricht.
We'll be getting up there to try and take down these minions. Things very
Noch ein bisschen mehr Briar, fuck no.
Still a
Ich stream heute bis so 17:30 Uhr, denke ich außerdem. Nur als kleines Heads-up.
As we illustrated earlier, not exactly the most fun matchup.
Nur als kleines Heads-up. Das heißt, wir meinen LCK und dann geht's rein in Solo-Queue bis so 17:30 Uhr rum.
Having the later back and then have the teleport is just going to be behind the curve here. They don't have mid prio. So this is a big win. Dragon went over to DRX.
Und der Morgen wieder lange.
It's going to be just yet. Cloud Soul would be
Aber es ist morgen ein bisschen.
for
Morgen habe ich ein bisschen Respekt vorm Tag, weil es ist kein LDC. Das heißt,
Olaf.
nach LCK bis LCS, da ist eine
Cloud Soul as well.
It's
Menge Zeit.
much you can actually do with them on both teams.
Menge Zeit.
And it almost feels like it's an inevitability based on how powerful it could be. Ando's going to clear this control ward, and they continue to maintain. Okay, not quite able to get it, but they maintain a lot of control in this bottom 2v2. And let's see what happens in the next fight.
Hast du einen Zugpad für morgen? Nee, immer noch nicht. Rein im WoW? Hell no, brother.
Which again, advisable.
Hell no, bro.
That's evolution for DRX as well in this exact matchup. Games were thrown.
Mann, es ist wieder LDC Montag und Dienstag.
Uncharted territory as an even game state is
Montag und Dienstag LEC,
DK with an
Mittwoch, Donnerstag Prime League, Freitag, Samstag, Sonntag LEC. 5 Tage Woche LEC.
well, right? Like we had like a killer minute at 9 minutes into the game in game number 1.
Fizz Jungle zum Beispiel? Nö.
First blood
Nicht
just yet.
gebufft.
We're about to tick to 10 minutes.
Soll die ziehen? Hell no.
Board does come on through. Make sure that Willa has access
no.
to the enemy jungle. Let's see whether that means Showmaker is in trouble as Sheer going to try and fight against Rich. But you know, when we pan the camera to the top lane, nothing.
Hallo Mario.
Yeah, not really. Rich is like, all right, you hit me, and then I have my empowered Q, and I heal it back, and we move on. Bramble Vest is going to feel like a nice little tech here, the standard into the Renekton. Is Ando finally going to get that ward? It looks like here, and they will maintain control, but there's no objective to take, so what does it really mean? It means they can get a back, I suppose. As that call's not quite done, I think Jiu is going to look to wait and...
Korea has to pop the ultimate.
Split recall there.
Yeah, not quite working out. It was not the timing, as they were still there. She now looking for a bit of an angle, but more plates are going to go
Ja, hier kann eigentlich nicht so viel passieren im Early Game.
to a bit of an advantage based
Right.
on that.
Lucid is pinging here. He needs help in the jungle.
Oh, Chains of Corruption go wide.
Schade.
For Andil there, as Willow will be able to move on over. There is artillery available for DK, but not too much more. But they're not going to push their luck, and DRX will just back away.
Had so much control for DRX in that jungle. I think
Go, Daddy.
take a fight there was not going to work out, as we saw multiple pings from Lucid. He was like, I need some help if we're going to take these caps. And Chains of Corruption just being tossed out. Blind doesn't hit. If it had, it might have actually given them some of an edge there, but it wasn't enough, I think, to even do anything. And now he doesn't have it. And Ando's just on the roam again.
Gibt's ja jetzt Best of 3 in LEC? Korrekt, aber jetzt Best of Freeze. Yep.
So it isn't like end of the world, but like you say,
Yep.
exactly the best. I do like the opportunism though. You know, sometimes
Für wen sind wir? Für DK, oder?
if you hit a blind one into the
This is
Irgendjemand Objections?
me where I think, okay, DRX really just
Hab
has-
keinerlei.
They know exactly where they can pull, how deep they can go, and then they stand. They're like, okay, we got Chains of Corruption. Let's not force.
Leute, für die cheeren könnte bei DRX.
Has prio, but we don't need to push deep. We
Du hast
can
das Tons-Video gesehen? Gestern angeschaut, ja. Haben wir gestern geschaut.
and look to play for this next Drake. In
Yep,
a minute's
yep.
time, as unfortunately for Gio did not quite finish his call, but he has enough to get the Essence Reaver first item. So I guess it doesn't matter really too much.
Yep, Blackfire Torch is done here for Showmaker as well as Rich and Shu fighting once again. There's the Dominus pop from this Renekton.
Okay,
cutting
warte
down
mal.
the Cassante.
Warte mal.
Turret all out, but that just takes
Oh.
That's first blood over to the
Oh.
And so many plates as well, worth of gold here.
Schnell Leute Tons. Ist over.
Grab a second one here.
Haben wir aufgelöst.
No 5 health this time, Wolf. Rich is actually able to take it.
Yeah, Rich just having such a series. Even though on the Aurora, obviously, it had a lot of issues and felt...
Und so ein gefiederter Renekton kann schon Terror machen, ne?
This is a big deal as well. The relevance of the Renekton is going to be in question later on in the game, right? Is
And-
one of these champions that does fall off. But
Shu teleports top lane. Rich could TP to Dragon if
Was von dem wird immer LEC spielen? Aber wenn sie schlau sind, streamen sie alle.
longevity here to scale with the
Scheiß noch Pro.
With the control they have over Dragon, I don't think they need
Wenn sie schlau sind.
to take TP advantage and walk back, and Ando can hold the door.
well, there's the
Wenn wir einen der Lost Launch-Spieler noch im Pro-Play sehen, erneut. Wenn die schlau sind, nicht.
some shoes. There's the Drake take as DRX are looking for a little bit more. Chains of Corruption go wide once again.
DRX hat auch gekocht im Draft. Ich weiß nicht, ob der, also wie gesagt, der Olaf ist noch ein Fragezeichen, aber es sind halt Double Mobile Carries. Mal schauen, weiß nicht. Mal sehen. Ich weiß nicht, wie viel Damage der Victor macht. Stark von Rich.
Yeah, I mean, she was just dead to rights.
At least force Rich to flash. Is Lucid, where are you going?
Oh dear.
Ja, LC wäre schon so eine Bereicherung. Ich disagree. Respectfully. Boah, das Game ist fucking fucked. Unless. Ja. Okay. Moment mal.
And he's got a cow to back him up. The Rise just has to back away. UCal really struggling in this series, to be perfectly honest. I think Showmaker is...
Ein paar Kills noch für Showmaker. Moment. Vielleicht kann der Victor carryen.
This pressure is absurd.
Yeah, it felt like it was a big flub for D+, but how they played it and the follow-up ended up making it feel totally fine, in fact.
Yeah, it made some sense in the end.
But at the end of the day, it's a trade of 1 for 1. Herald is up in 30 seconds, and Willer will have his steel caps and will be rushing over, I think, to contest this, because this is a fight that I think you absolutely want to win if you are DRX. You want to get that objective. This is just Lucid. You know, we didn't see exactly how this started off. UCal has the Realm Warp here. They blow him up, but now he's on the wrong side of this fight, and then Smash shows up here, and there's just no peel, so the Olaf goes down. The ultimate here from Andil at least allows UCal to get out. I don't know if it really even mattered, frankly, but I was able to at least push the Varus away. But Herald's up, and this is, I think, for DRX, what opens up the mid lane and gives you so much more space as the Sivir to farm and get towards the late game you want.
Well, we'll see whether that is what they're going to be able to do, because I think this game is firmly on the back of Geo.
And Rich has the teleport advantage, so I think they should absolutely play through it.
Ooh, Rift Herald. That's looking like it might be the next port of call.
I mean, like,
Flash has ulti back again.
Geo is Sivir, so he's like, I've got mid-prio. Well, maybe teammate not have.
Das war richtig geiles Setup. Into Ulti, um Special zu baiten. Das war ein ziemlich sickes Setup. Strong. Strong.
The top laners are in the bottom lane. Thank you, Jonas Strong, for that one. As Rift Herald is just going to be taken here by DK, I don't think there's a lot DRX can do.
Yeah, I like the idea of clearing the wave and trying to collapse there, but he went pretty deep as Willer is going to show up.
Yeah, UCal
Willer's level 11.
as well, as we've got a teleport getting them behind DK. I think DRX may have just got themselves a Rift Herald based on that play. And Wolf, you said it before, the macro from DRX is just being good. And if
Schöner Interrupt, honestly.
they're too far and die, I think they get it a little bit easier. Rich has to
Honestly.
TP for this, so it gives some free space to Showmaker and Shiu down on the bottom side, but at least he turns that TP into pressure here on the top side, so it's an equivalent trade in terms of damage to turrets overall here, and the Herald is still picked up. So Geo, clear the wave, then walk towards the Herald is what I would suggest in most scenarios.
Gutes Setup hier.
However, he walks towards Smash and tries to chip away at him a little bit more and then dies. Yeah, but they have teleport advantage in the bottom lane. Rich
Magst du kurz in 2 Sätzen, weil es ja nicht so gefallen hat? Ist mir zu ineffizient. Und ich habe das Gefühl, er wurde sehr hart rausgebaitet von Nocturne. Mir hat er auf diesen klassischen Meta-Bruiser-Jungler nicht so sehr gefallen. Ich glaube, der bräuchte wahrscheinlich noch mal ein Jahr in der honestly. Wäre mein Take. Und dann wäre er fein. Aber ja.
No, certainly not.
Zu viele Flaws gesehen.
Gold, you're like, okay, D+ have a lead, but it's not that real.
Insbesondere sein Early Game fand ich sehr schwach.
And this is what we were talking about before. This is the exciting part about this game.
Fand sein Early Game einfach zu schwach. Durchgehend. Aber erneut, ich glaube, das ist jemand, der bräuchte halt noch ein Jahr in ERL, aber er sollte streamen. Jeder, der streamen kann, sollte streamen. Ist mein Take. Sein Vego war auch nicht so bitter, hat kein Vego gespielt in der LCK. Wow, Andil lebt. Nee, okay, wollte gerade sagen.
Should be able to get themselves a Drake off the back of this as Rich goes forward, has a lot of fury, and Cole the Meek is going to at least get that health bar back to parity with Shiu. These top laners just been fighting constantly this game.
he's got the gauntlet, but he also has the.
Victor sieht echt gut aus. Ja, der Victor kriegt auch Items und er hat Cosmic Drive. Das heißt, der kommt vielleicht sogar vom Olaf weg. Mal sehen.
Both those top laners like,
Vielleicht irgendwann, ja, das war näher jetzt.
This is actually quite tight, and then Rich gets all of his fury to max out there on the empowered W and the empowered Q. He gets the heal, and he's like, I think I'll walk away from this one.
Manchen reicht als Jimmy nicht, sondern wollen Competition, auch wenn es monetär schlecht ist. Das stimmt. Ja. Und das ist, ey, Fair Play. Ich empfehle es nicht, aber ja. Wenn sie das brauchen, dann you do you.
Despite the loss of the Poppy, so we'll see if that ends up being relevant as we look for potentially sole point for them in this upcoming fight.
Yeah. This is going to be a huge deal. Of course, DRX not exactly under too much.
Universal arbeitslos. Du, wie gesagt, ich check's voll. Ist halt, also ich finde ich würde es jetzt nicht bevorzugen, aber ich verstehe es ja.
Himself as he is moving too far forward, holds onto the ulti, but that health bar is looking pretty low.
Showmaker just can't get access to this fight though, despite him having those 2 items to Merc Treads upgraded and 7-stack Rod of Ages UCal, who's a level down. Guess it doesn't matter.
Braucht leider die Pro-Spiel, don't get me wrong. Aber ja.
Willer is there towards the south of this fight. Rich moves up. Gives that information over, but Chiu is in position as well. Level advantage for the Crocodile, but doesn't have a health advantage right now as he blast cones his way in. Cheeky little Q there, but Chiu, you can see he's just a brick wall.
DRX have the Drake advantage. They don't have to hard force. They're just slow playing this.
Yeah, well, now you've got Chiu looking.
Die spielen das so geil slow, ne? Schön auch Poke.
Charge him into the wall heroically.
Technik hat noch 34 Minuten, um zeitig anzukommen. Passiert das safe, oder? Ja, ja. Ich bin reliable. Und arbeiten gerne, die Opfers.
Yeah, mid lane control for DK is going to be there as he does manage to take down that minion wave. So there is a priority lead for DK. They're going to now push forward as DRX were looking for it here. Shiu is going to get pushed back, but he's lit on fire. Not sure whether he really minds too much about that.
Showmaker is just trapped in the bottom lane, and this is now a 5v4, and they get Prio on the Dragon. Slow and steady wins the race here for DRX, although Andel a bit far forward.
Yeah, Showmaker moving over, and DK, I mean...
Geiles Katz-Maus-Spiel hier die letzten 1,5 Minuten.
Keeper's verdict is going to not quite work out here.
Mit Dryso... Oh, Showmaker, geil geflasht von Endel. Insane von Endel gespielt. Sexy.
They just rebuild the phalanx, and DK, I don't know whether you want to take this one as the piercing arrows are flying in.
Bist du so Pischiwu? No fucking way, right? Was macht Jiwu? Was macht Jiwu? Nein, 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 nein. DK, du darfst es nicht gewinnen. Diesen Fight, das ist so bad. Nein, nein, nein. Wir hatten so ein schönes Setup die letzten 1,5 Minuten und dann griefst du so. Das war nicht Cassante, Guys. Guys, das war nicht Cassante. Das war nicht Cassante, Guys, bitte. Ich kann es nicht hören. Das war nicht die Cassante, das war nicht Cassante, Guys. Das war wirklich die Sivir.
In melee range as a Sivir is not really what you want to be doing. And now DK are going to very comfortably take this Baron 21 minutes into the game.
It's a position with the Dragon lead here for DRX where there's definitely some play here, but I think given now this fight win for D+,
geile Rise holt hier auf Showmaker drauf. Geil. Honestly, das hier war richtig nice. Und jetzt darfst du da... Nein, nein, nein. Nein, 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 nein. Alter. What the fuck? Wow. So ein Aussetzer. Legit, das war einfach ein Aussetzer, oder nicht? Das war so safe einfach ein Aussetzer.
That's a big error though. The way they played everything else in that fight was brilliant, and I was about to sing their praises, like, wow, okay, they miraculously were able to wrestle Prio away, they kept Showmaker out.
Yeah, they get the Dragon.
It's like, okay, I got soul point, which is valuable if we can survive this Baron and everything else. It's a 5,000 gold lead here again for D+ now. Tavares 2K ahead.
Yeah. And he's got Cyrilda's done as Career is going to interrupt the blast cone there as Rich moves his way over. Smash cannot actually enter the fight as finally he hits an ultimate at least.
Ja, genau, mit Vision ist natürlich fein, na klar, aber mit Vision läuft er auch nicht in den Busch rein. Mit Vision attackt er einfach Shivu.
That is just Lucid down, but you can see these health bars on DRX are very low. That's actually going to pull back the tempo quite nicely here for DRX, to be honest.
Honestly, they handled this again well.
Nash gone.
It's the punish place for
Mal wieder so ein 1000 Gold Nash.
So consistent. Like,
Yeah.
you guys think you can be here? We will catch you. Andel's often the one who starts it off, right? He's like, okay, this is an illegal zone. You're not allowed to be here. But in this case, blast cone denied, but Rich gets into the flank. Smash is like, I really want to layer damage in here. I really want to get access, but Lucid dies first here. Has to ult, but just dies.
Yeah.
He didn't really have a great place.
Shivu und Jivu sollten in einem Team spielen, ja, ja.
For the Poppy and dies, and then this is just a lot of Baron time lost, you know? And it's a Sivir on the other side who's got great wave clear. That's kind of the name of the game for Gio. He's like, I wave clear, I survive, we go to late game, I try to win the game from there.
Yeah, I think DK would have much preferred to have the Drake as a prize for winning that team fight. Instead of this Baron where the Rebel Baron power play is sitting at 1,000. It's not exactly the largest. If they do get some access to these turrets, then there is going to
Mechanics trainiert? Nee, ich glaube, das ist wirklich einfach spielen. Ich weiß nicht, ob es einen gezielten Weg gibt, Mechanics zu trainieren. Honestly.
And this Baron is still active for 15 more seconds, but doesn't quite look like they're going to be able to break these inners. This one's full health.
Yep.
Doesn't have overgrowth on it.
Ja, 1000 Gold Nash Play.
This last cannon minion here.
Couple of plates though, so that's a bit extra of the money.
Ich glaube, also bei mir sind so, ich würde sagen 70% von Mechanics, also mein Take sind 70% von Mechanics sind einfach wissen, was passiert. Weiß ich, wie ich es erklären soll. So, Cooldowns wissen und dann anticipaten, was halt der Gegner Champion machen wird und so. Das ist für mich großer von Mechanics einfach.
Take the damage, and as a result, we'll have to back 20 seconds till this dragon. Gonna get the empowered recall home.
Yeah, I feel like the last dragon was very recently. That time has really skipped forward.
I don't really think D+ could have just tried to force this dragon without backing, but that back timing is gonna allow DRX to set up here. Poppy with ultimate back online, the exhaust is set up. This is a tough fight for D+ here.
Oh man, Smash needs to be really careful because Willa, if he just runs at them.
Rise wird hier mit wem? Dritter. Gut von Lucid raus mit Hexblade auch. Oh, das ist big. Olaf Ulti down. Das ist richtig big. Ja. Geiles Special von Lucid auch noch. Oh mein Gott, Lucid Flash. Bist du des Wahnsinns? Bist du des Wahnsinns? Wir peelen nicht? Okay. Schön. Schön. Sehr gutes Engage gegen die Olaf Ulti.
It's just not great for Sivir, and unfortunately for Gio, he only has one of them. He ends up getting taken out. This fight is so broken up, and this Realm Warp call, they've had two of these this game that are fantastic, but the Paranoia is used defensively, so Showmaker gets away. And then as they collapse onto Gio, he has to flash over the wall to get away. Spell Shield from Lucid onto this ultimate from the Poppy is
von Lucid.
without Lucid being able to get onto Gio.
Oh, Flash wird jetzt hier auf Jivu drauf. Na, kannst du mir das erklären?
Melted instead. And so that was actually massive, that spell
Du Grieferschwein.
himself to then push Gio away. Gets this hit here. No way to spell shield that as Gio, and they end up cleaning up the fight. First dragon for D+ is secured. And yet, I don't know if it's just me, Atlas, but I still kind of feel like the tempo vibes for DRXs in this one.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, honestly, I just don't trust how D+ is playing. A DRX are 4,000 gold behind, playing a lot more confidently, making very decisive calls that make sense to me.
One of D+'s biggest weaknesses is acquisition of tempo vibes. They just don't have many of them at all times. That's why there's a lot of anxiety in the fandom.
If D+ have the tempo vibes, there's like no question. It's like super obvious.
No, like Showmaker's tempo vibes when Showmaker has 25 stack Magi's. Like that's like when they have
If you have to question, they do not have the tempo vibes. It's like Bonjour, you know? If you have to go, is Faker the Bonjour, then he's not. But no one's ever questioned that.
Oftentimes when I've questioned, like when I thought that they had the tempo vibes, I've lost hair. You know, I'm not often right, and I don't want to be challenged again. I like my hair, and I prefer not to lose it.
And I mean, this game, Actualizer done now for UCal. Like, he was a whole item down, and just given enough time,
4 Items auf AD Carry gegen 2,5. Support das Ding fertig, Mann. LDA und selbst dann braucht er noch AI. Und selbst dann ist es nicht leicht zu spielen, weil die range-technisch halt echt ein Problem haben hier. Gegen die beiden Carries von DK. Olaf Jungle gut, also gegen Immobile Carries normalerweise schon, aber ich mag ihn mehr mit einem Enchanter, also mit Karma oder sowas. Hat aber auf jeden Fall Spots, ja.
Yes, this is the problem, because we've seen gold leads not necessarily equate to easy times in the later stages of the game. Baron is now what both of these teams are looking at. Still 3 minutes on this next Dragon attempt for DRX to try and get that Cloud Soul. As Jiu gets his Lord Doms, it's actually kind of a big deal. Does, of course, want the Infinity Edge as well, but one step closer to...
Karma Bruiser Cheat Code? Ja, okay.
Feels pretty good. He's also going to cap out higher than Smash.
Ja, die sollten Drake droppen auf jeden Fall. Die Frage ist nur bezüglich Nash. Wie wir es machen.
She is later on in the game just going to have better items.
Yeah. Jiu will Teddy hard in this game if he gets the time. And the fact that they got the Dragon lead buys them that time. And Barons are not as big of an issue when you have a Sivir and a Ryze on your team, because you have insane wave clear to mitigate that and just buy time and farm and look for that later, more impactful team fight. And Elder isn't a win con for D+ either, because it just hasn't spawned.
Yeah.
And won't be for a while if they keep getting dragons, obviously, so...
And they want to be denying the soul, because otherwise they won't win team fights, because Jiu is just going to sprint around way too fast.
Ryze Ulti auf Bot kommt.
His ultimate button as we've got a bit of an all-in here towards the bottom side.
Stark.
Helping him out very nicely.
Guter Play. Oh, mit dem Counter-TP aber. Oh yeah.
He has decided he is fully committing to trying to...
Oh yeah.
And unfortunately, Showmaker will say...
Eigentlich eine coole Sequence. Zuerst mit der Ryze Ulti und dann der Counterplay von DK. Coole Sequence.
Obvious, right? You could see it on the minimap. UCal's running down. They're clearly communicating that, but why are we tossing away all of the potential tempo challenge for Baron for trying to get a solo lane kill onto the Cassante of all things when TP is up for Showmaker? They got his TP. Just not going to call Worth on this one for DRX. The ultimate for UCal is down, which has been one of their biggest tools in team fights as well. The Dragon's spawning in 1 minute's time, and they're going to have 0 prio for it. Man,
wann kommt der Hut für Showmaker?
It's pretty crazy what he's been able to do, and from laning phase to start into some of these incredible team fights, and his rotations have been really crisp. So 50 seconds till Dragon. Respawn will be there for UCal. But now you're like, okay,
Jay fördert nicht wirklich auf Renekton. Ja.
On this Victor almost has death cap, and you got to juggle all of these things all at once here. While your Ryze, by the way, doesn't have teleport, and even doesn't have Ghost in this case. So really, really hurts that UCal doesn't have Roam, but we'll have it back pretty soon here. And it looks like D+ are not going to threaten this Baron take just yet.
Yeah, I think the Dragon going to be that little bit more important here for them, as Andal, there's not a whole lot he can do into Lucid, as Willer is going to move on over. The rest of DK, they can move the cavalry in though, and I don't think Andal is going to be feeling too good about it. Death rate does go wide.
Ja, immer noch Nocturne Ulti. Ich weiß noch nicht, ob sie sie nicht benutzen wollen. Okay.
Going to get Andal out of there. Wasn't all that necessary, but looked pretty cool.
It did look really like cinematic that he escapes, but I'm not sure how much matters. He is going to have his unsealed teleport back up, so I guess kind of works out. He is will be able to rejoin right away.
And the Drake
Nocturne Ulti gehalten.
So
Gut.
Dragon and Baron, both of them there. This gives DRX an advantage.
DRX will have to make a good macro call here, and I just don't know if they have enough control over the map to make a decision here. Like, it's not even about should they make the call to go to Baron or not. Is that the right or wrong call? I just don't think there is a call. Like, they have to give this Dragon, and they can't do Baron in time. So D+ get this Dragon for free.
Was sagen wir?
And put themselves on 2 Drakes.
Die Ryze Ulti, nicht zu Nocturne Ulten. Was genau jetzt?
With the map control they had. And I think that, you know, some of these very aggressive positions for Andil and crew, UCal's ults, not working out.
Paranoia going to come on through here as Lucid, able to mitigate so much with that spell shield. The piercing arrow goes wide, and Andil is Poppy, and so he actually lasts way longer than...
Die Ryze Ulti, ich war aber fein. Ich glaube, sonst ist Nash-Start auf dem Menü.
Shiu actually takes so much damage from there, and Andil just kind of shrugs it off.
Yeah, Andil is like, I'm Poppy, I'm support Poppy, but your lethality bars doesn't scare me.
Back on a wall. There's a teleport in as well as
Jivu.
exhausted, but he doesn't look that tired to me. As the all-out comes through, Shiu lasts a little bit longer than you'd expect. But
Ja. Ja. Olaf und sie Ulti raus, aber.
This front line is completely broken now for D+. They don't really have a great way to fight this one out.
Nice Ulti.
Yeah, there's the keeper's verdict. Gets rid of Smash, their heroic charge.
Flash Round von Yukai, kein Nash mehr möglich. Kein Nash mehr möglich.
Storm is doing a lot of work. Paranoia now down
Wirklich.
as well. I don't think he wants to go. Decide to pull the trigger. I'm not sure about it. The rest of DRX are
Willer's im Pit. Hallo?
Their health bars are too low. I think that was a good Paranoia call, the way they played it, how slowly they were able to kind of inch forward and chase, but not hard force, and force DRX away with low health bars to stop them from doing the Baron. And 15 seconds time, Shield will be up with TP, so we just reset and go again. This game, though, we're getting closer and closer to Big Sivir territory.
Oh no, but it's Big Victor territory as well.
Yeah.
This is like the end of Season 2 of Arcane, you know, like this guy's starting to take over.
I do wonder, though, with the Rise as well in tow, is the scaling...
Ja, kein Flash mehr auf Yukai, Problem. Und tut fertig bei Showmaker. Aber kein Flash auf ihm. Boah, ich weiß nicht mal, wann ich das letzte Mal Champ-Punk gesehen habe.
Definitely favor the Rise here, but still a ways away from that right now.
Yep.
This game is so close.
I need to take a moment to apologize to Chronicler for spoiling some of Arcane Season 2 there. It's not really a spoiler, like we kind of knew that it was going to be about Victor moving on, and he gets a bit scary. We don't know what happens after that, okay? So it's not fully spoiled. Sorry about
Chronicler thought he turned into a zealot based on the updated profile picture for Victor. Chronicle was a big StarCraft enjoyer, you know.
I mean, he was actually, you know, like that's what he got brought up on. So I think that's a really good call. So we apologize for that one on behalf of Riot Games. Okay.
Arcane Spoiler,
Let's see what
ja, ja.
DK can do, or what DRX can do to try and wrestle back some control. That's a great pulverizer.
Korea, mein Freund.
Presence was a little bit too late. The unbreakable will there for Korea, but he is going to get expelled from the fight. Does now mean that keeper's verdict is.
Und für Ult Trade keine Sivir-Ulti.
But D+ not in a confident position to start up this Baron, and I wonder, could they, if they just cleared this mid wave and played through the Victor damage, maybe they could look for a turn, but without their Alistar and their Alistar without ult, even if he stayed, it's pretty difficult to play out.
I mean, Shiu is just so large.
Yeah, and this Olaf has not really gotten the value we discussed, because we got to the late game without him being able to run down Smash, so Showmaker and Smash just kind of kill him, as we discussed, if he runs at them. So they have to play it a little bit more subtly. Big pickup here for UCal and for Geo. The IE and the Zonias are ready for what could be the game-deciding fight.
That's a gigantic spike for the Sivir. As DK, they have to be so careful. I mean, Paranoia has to be used now every single time onto Geo to make sure that as many cooldowns go down and Showmaker and Smash have a chance to kill him.
Crazy that both mid laners are basically at item value parity, despite Showmaker having this lead the whole game. The Rise is certainly going to go toe-to-toe, potentially in a team fight.
Yeah, and this late game, he's been getting into side lanes and making stuff happen.
Smash has really dominated this mid matchup, so the wave clear of Sivir that often gets you guaranteed prio just hasn't mattered, because he just keeps hitting these charged Qs repeatedly onto Geo, forcing his spell shield, and if he doesn't have it, just has to back away. That means prio goes over here with Showmaker also controlling the side lane here in the bottom lane. And D+, in 40 seconds, when that dragon spawns, they need to be in position to deny it, and it's step by step. And their movement speed is really starting to get out of control. If they get 3 Cloud Dragons here, it is pretty insane what they're going to be able to accomplish around the map, rotation-wise even.
Hallo, Muffeli.
The teleport on the Varus as well, they even have that rotational power.
Mein Cousin hat gesagt, wird ein schnelles 3-0. Ja, was soll ich denn machen? Was soll ich denn machen? Kannst du mir gemeins unerklärbar?
And so much about DRX is abuse of movement speed, right? Like, that's Sivir's whole kit. Like, that's what Olaf needs in order to be sticky onto targets. If DK could just continue to stack these Cloud Drakes, then, I mean, DK can just run faster than Olaf. And you get slow resistance as well, so the undertow spam is not as powerful.
They have pretty strong turn with this Nocturne. I'm not sure why they're not just putting people on Dragon.
Oh, well.
Okay, da kommt, was? Was? Full Send? Showmaker hat noch Flash up. Showmaker ist tot, oder? Nee. Boah, insane von Korea. Wow, rettet er seinen Arsch. Showmaker lebt, Korea nicht. Oh Gott. Es ist so fucked. Okay, ich habe diese... Oh mein Gott, der Comet. Unless, Smash.
trying to keep them interested. As Smash getting a little bit frightened as Rich, great sidestep and really good ward that was positioned there beforehand.
Also ich sag, die Cassandra Ulti auf den Poppy gebuffert. Sick. Also ich sag, diese 5-Mann-Rise-Ulti rein habe ich nicht erwartet persönlich.
Juice back here. Smash needs to be very careful about sticking around.
Very nice spell shield there as well. And it's a one-team fight by DRX. That should be Cloud Soul.
There's no jungle here.
Wow, Ultis ab.
25 seconds for DRX, whereas Lucid is up and available, so they need to play this really well. I think they're gonna have to try to.
Die können nicht Drake, Mann. Ihr könnt nicht Drake, Mann, Freunde.
Before they go for this, this is a bit disastrous here for DRX. There's a paranoia.
As well.
Oh no, Smash. Nein, 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 nein. Flash, 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 Flash. Ich hab.
Wiped out now. Lucid in a lot of trouble. The headbutt to try and save the jungler, but it's just gonna be Korea once again being turned into mincemeat.
Oh.
Just keep winning.
Oh man, Atlas, this is.
Oh yeah.
Where, I mean, I've been saying the whole series long, but DRX are like, this is the bar. Yeah. And you make the right call. DRX.
Oh yeah.
Oh, overextended. Realm Warp into the backside of the team fight. Now your tank isn't there. Your front line isn't there in this fight. Gio almost dies, right? He's almost taken out, but he does not die. The knockaway of Smash means there's only 180 carry in this fight. Then on the top side of the fight, Showmaker is just getting run down by this massive top laner. Rich wasn't super fed in this game or anything crazy, but at level 19, this Renekton will kill basically anyone he can get into melee range. And this is Showmaker in this case. And by the time Smash gets back here, the fight is already over. And this is DRX taking Cloud Soul and Baron.
Cloud Soul und Nash und jetzt Sivir kommt. Ich meine, Sivir ist immer noch outranged, ne? Das dürfen wir nicht vergessen. Sivir ist hier immer noch outranged.
And DRX, they have confirmed tempo vibes for the first time in this game, right?
This
this is an advantage.
Is this the fell for it timing here for D+ this season? Like, is this the moment where we start to wonder, like, is this where the fall happens that every D+ fan dreads? Great start to the year, everything's looking good, and then, let's see.
Let's see what happens here as Andal just looks like he doesn't really take damage. Celestial opposition is one heck of an item, but he's also Poppy. So that's very helpful.
UCal is getting some free time in this top lane with Baron buff. See if they can punish him, or if he's just going to be able to get away. He doesn't have Realm Warp, but he doesn't need it.
Great vision control here as well, as Lucid standing on a ward this entire time is actually going to get chased down by Willa here momentarily.
So much gold on the map here for DRX.
Yeah, no, it's kind of absurd, because there's still an outer turret in the bottom lane, and DRX is going to try and get the siege to work. Obviously, that comp doesn't necessarily siege all that well, but with 2 siege minions and Baron...
Aber Flash ist down bei DK Carries. Ich glaube, es ist fucked, Freunde.
Any wave that comes
Afraid it's fucked.
Evaporates, and then the siege minions continue to do their work. And they can just slow play this because the Sivir is getting stronger and stronger and stronger at every passing moment.
Rise Ulti jetzt in Olaf in die Backline schicken, ist glaube ich sogar wirklich okay. Also wäre jetzt wirklich okay sogar.
But even the Crocodile, man, level 20 on this Renekton. It's a very scary time for DK, because after this, if they don't win this game,
Ist First Game? Nein, ist das dritte.
DRX as now Lucid looking to try and start this fight onto UCal, but he is very scary right now. Level 18.
There's no follow-up.
Willa does get
Ich würde jetzt wirklich lange. Oh weia. Oh weia. Oh weia. Jivu. Oh yeah. Verlierer raus? Nein. Lower Bracket. Lower bracket.
On the Rebel Baron power play, and that is only going to go up as they take another inhibitor turret. And DK, I mean, what are they supposed to do? DRX just have all the answers.
Yeah, they really do. Here's the TP in from Rich. They're looking to end the game right now.
Gott, hallo.
Is not going to push them all that far as the Pulverize does not anything at all. From Korea, there is no follow-up, and Rich dives forward. Showmaker still able to do a fair bit of damage here, but he gets...
Katastrophe. Katastrophe. GG.
DK, and DRX will move to match point.
DRX looking good, Atlas.
Wie ist es möglich?